Are you one of the refugees or workers here?
Thank you. Please not film me. You need to leave property. Toronto police are on their way. Thank you.
Oh, why? Oh, is it to hand out tickets for the numerous violations here? David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. Well, folks, I'm standing outside the Willowdale Welcome Centre. You won't see any signage indicating that. This is where numerous refugees are staying in Toronto. It doesn't look like a hotel, and there's a good reason for that. It never was a hotel. This used to be the old North York Hydro building, and it was converted into basically a refugee center. But here's the problem. It was just reported that 11 of the refugees here and 12 staff members have tested positive for the Wuhan virus. And it just goes to show you the absolute folly of Justin Trudeau's refugee program, because this building was never designed for overnight cohabitation. It is precisely the type of facility experts warn can spread the coronavirus like wildfire. And sure enough, look what's happened. 11 residents and 12 staff have the COVID-19. Now, people do come and go as they please, which raises another problem, doesn't it? If these people happen to be infected, isn't that going to spread the Wuhan virus even more? Well, let's see what I can find out. Hi, ma'am, are you a refugee staying at the Welcome Centre?
Yes, I am. May I ask who you are?
Yes, my name is David Menzies. I'm with Rebel News, and we're just doing a story on the COVID-19 outbreak, and we're trying to find out if anything is being done differently in this building since all those individuals tested positive.
Yeah, it's quite scary, to be honest.
Oh, it is? How so?
You see a lot of people being taken away by ambulance, but we don't know whether they've really tested positive or they're just having a normal flu or what it is that they are suffering from.
So, do you think maybe there's more people that have the virus than what's being reported?
There could be, because we haven't really been tested, have we?
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm. So up until we are tested, we wouldn't know whether who has, who hasn't.
Can you tell me why you're not wearing the personal protection equipment?
I don't have the virus, so
You've been tested, sir? You know that for a fact?
yeah, for a fact, I'm healthy. So
Can you tell me what the conditions are like in there? Why isn't she allowed to speak to me, sir? Who is that, ma'am? Who is that man yelling at us?
Security.
Oh, he's security? Do you know how many people are in here?
no, I'm barely 2 weeks here. So
Okay, where are you from, sir?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, then. All right. And where did you get tested? Because there's millions of Canadians trying to get tested, and
Well, I didn't get a test, but I did other tests, and if I had the coronavirus, they would have told me or something.
how would we know if they didn't test you?
I know I'm healthy, so
But I've noticed a lot of people coming and going, ma'am, and they're not wearing, the mask like you're wearing, or gloves or goggles. And I'm just wondering, is everyone here doing the safest thing possible to prevent the spread?
Not really, of course. The masks only started coming late last week.
I see.
Yeah, that's when they started providing us. So we only if somebody makes an effort, of course, to go and ask for the mask.
I see.
Yeah, so the gloves we are not given. Yeah, so it's quite a concern, I should say.
Hi, ma'am. Are you one of the refugees or workers here? Pardon me?
Thank you. Please not film me. You need to leave property. Toronto police are on their way. Thank you.
Oh, why? Oh, is it to hand out tickets for the numerous violations here? Who are these people, sir, that are telling you not to speak to me? I mean, we're just having a friendly conversation, aren't we?
I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Sir, why are you doing that, sir? We're just having a friendly conversation here. A fascinating thing, though, I have looked into the glass. It's very reflective. I don't know if my camera can pick up the imagery, there are refugees congregating together, completely violating the 2-meter social distancing rule. And that's kind of funny, isn't it? There's a blind eye turned to that, even in a Wuhan virus hotspot. Yet the mayor of the city, John Tory, will go on social media and brag about how many tickets by law enforcement and the police have handed out to law-abiding Canadians simply taking a stroll on the boardwalk, for example. By the way, folks, I did reach out to Patricia Mueller. She is the CEO of Homes First. That is the non-profit agency that runs the Willowdale Welcome Centre for the City of Toronto. And, Miss Mueller was too busy to consent to an interview, but she did send an emailed statement, and it reads as following. Quote, at this time, Homes First can confirm positive COVID-19 cases in 11 clients at our Willowdale Welcome Centre. Homes First is working closely with Toronto Public Health to ensure the safety and health of both our staff and clients, and have implemented measures and precautions such as providing personal protective equipment and erecting plexiglass shields at counters to do so. We would like to thank our communities and donors for their continued support through this challenging time, end quote. So you can see, folks, Miss Mueller doesn't tell us anything that we don't already know. In fact, she tells us less than we already know. She admits to the 11 clients, as she calls them, having the COVID-19 virus, but she doesn't refer to the 12 staff members that are reported to have the virus as well. And yes, she talks about personal protective equipment, yet as you've seen on camera, there's been many violations of people not wearing that equipment. So that PPE does no one any good if it's not going to be worn to protect others from this virus. And thirdly, as you can see, you think there might be a lockdown provision given that this is a hotbed. But, well, clients are coming and go as they please. If you go in there, sir, I think you'll find numerous violations of the COVID-19 protocol.
If you have concerns about rules and regulation, the health standards, that's something you could bring up to Health Canada, okay? And then they'll do the proper investigations. As far as filming goes, being on their property, you can't film on their property if they've asked you to leave. If like other news programs, they go across the street or whatnot, but to interfere with employees here or residents that live here, it is a shelter, you're violating that, okay?
Well, there you have it, folks. I reached out to people here at the Willowdale Welcome Centre, and most of them weren't so welcoming. Many were standoffish, many just ran away, some were a little hostile, but a few did come on camera, and I do appreciate their honesty for doing so. Now, you might wonder, what right is it of anyone to come by here and ask these questions? Well, I'll tell you. The City of Toronto alone, or I should say its taxpayers, are on the hook for something like $100 million for the refugee accommodation program. Yeah, so taxpayers do have skin in the game. And secondly, aren't we always told that public safety trumps all? That public safety is paramount? And here we are at the latest hotbed for the coronavirus in the City of Toronto, and I have seen numerous violations of protocol when it comes to curbing the curve of this virus. For example, I saw people far closer than 2 meters apart inside the Welcome Centre. I saw many people not wearing the proper personal protection equipment. And for that matter, given that this is a hotspot, why are people coming and going at random? Isn't this a larger health concern too, that they might be carriers, that they might be spreading the coronavirus? I find it astonishing, and I can tell you, folks, with the number of violations I've seen here today, those cops would have filled their monthly quota in 1 hour just by taking a tour of the Willowdale Welcome Centre. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, do you feel that you've been personally victimized by law enforcement or by bylaw officers in terms of those people handing out fines for COVID-19 violations? Well, if your case fits the bill, we'll foot the bill, your legal bill that is. Please send your story to us here at Rebel News. Go to fightthefines.com, fightthefines.com. Tell us the details, and if we think it's egregious enough to fight, we will indeed get a lawyer and take it to court.